let's take it all the way back, man. Tell everybody where you grew up.
Grew up in Compton, California. Campanella Park Pyru was the gang I ran with for a lot of years. You know, got into the music scene in 1988, just with the beatboxing, the DJing. I was just intrigued by it and started rapping. Wrote my first rap in Juvenile Hall, and it just went from there, man. It's funny how it happened because we were in our cells, and a brother, when we came out for rec in Juvenile Hall, and I'm like 16, 15, 16 years old, and brother came up to me and asked me, "Hey man, can you rap?" Now I didn't have a lick of skills, and I wasn't even a rapper. And I told the dude, yeah. He said, "Can you write me a rap?" I was like, "Yeah, I can." And I just started putting words together, rhyming them, and it started to make sense, man. And that was the birth of MC Mr. Tink. And I just studied it and was always connected with hip hop. Around that era, man, that's when LL had came out. And, LL was one of the hardest to ever do it and still is.
Yep.
Rakim, everybody. As soon as the hip hop scene started, Salt and Pepper, Slick Rick, all of them people, man. Just following them and listening and studying, and I just evolved and got better and better at it, brother.
Nice. Now back then it wasn't as easy as it is today to record an album. Now I'm looking at equipment right now. If I wanted to record an album in my own room, I could do it and release it in 2 days. But back in the late 80s, early 90s, it wasn't that easy. Tell everybody, the process that you went through to get out. Let's go with the what's the one that had Survival of the Fittest on? I'm having a brain fart. What is it?
Quest for Survival.
Quest for Survival. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Tell us about how that whole project came about.
Well, we started off doing street tapes. They were called street tapes. It wasn't mixtapes. It was street tapes back in the days. And we had a group. My homie Sonny J, Buddha G, God rest his soul. We all had a group, and we used to do street tapes, man. But back then, studios, you'd have to go and you have to pay for the studio, just like now. But it was more expensive then because, everybody was starting to do it and the hip hop scene was blowing up. So we started off doing the tapes, man, and the tapes rotated around the neighborhood. A lot of people don't even know, man, but Mr. Mossberg, God rest his soul, he got killed some years back, man. That was my homie. I actually started him rapping, man. He's from the neighborhood. And from him hearing our tapes, man, and just wanting to be involved, that's how he got on the scene, just listening to us come up, man. But, it was a process, man. And we would go from studio to studio. And back then, man, we were so hungry. And it was, because, a lot of cats were coming out their trunk, with the music. You do something and you can go sell your tapes. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you're familiar with how Dre and Easy and all them started with the Rhodium Swap Meet tapes.
Yep.
And you can still pull up those Rhodium Swap Meet tapes when Dre was broke, but you can go up to the Rhodium and get a tape, and we were just slinging our tapes, hustling our tapes, going back and forth into the studio, man, and it was just fun, man. But I started to see I was getting better and better and better. And so one of my homies, he invested, my homie had the bread and he invested in the whole studio, man, like 30 G's. And we built the studio from the ground up so that we can push the music. And we started a label, which was Funkin' It Up Records. And it was me, my homie, Buddha G, God rest his soul, and then Sonny J, Low Income. They had the group Low Income. Mr. Tink was solo. And then our homie from our neighborhood, which was DJ M-Walk. If you're familiar with DJ M-Walk, he was Tone Loke's DJ.
Uh-huh.
That's who produced the whole Quest for Survival album. Every single track was all of his music, and he was a K-Day mix master. If you're familiar with 1580 K-Day, the mix master. Of course,
Greg Mack Attack, baby.
Greg Mack, yeah, absolutely. M-Walk was one of them, and that's who produced that whole album, man. And so, by him, I grew up with him and went to school with him, man, and we linked up, man, and we started laying the album down, man. And that's how the Quest for Survival came. 12, 13 years old, man. I moved from Compton, from the neighborhood into LA, man. And we was right in, well, it was Family Swans off of 88th and Central. It's a cat named Big Evil. He locked up, and Sinister is his brother. And we was running with them, man, and You know, Sinister is passed away. God rest his soul. But yeah, we was running with them, man, and these cats used to come through all the time. LA was more active than Compton. It was like 100 more levels of active. You know what I'm saying? Than Compton was back then, man. And you know, we was right in between the AGs, the Avalon Gardens, and on the other side of Central was the Kitchen Crips. So you know, you had to have a pistol, man. You know what I'm saying? And we, you had to have a pistol young, you know, because them cats used to come through letting off all the time like clockwork. And you know, we wasn't really involved like that, you know, trying to break dance and all of that, man. But you know, you just got to do what you got to do to survive, brother.
Man. Let's keep it pushing.
From the ones ever since I met the streets, I've seen a lot of homies leave the hood to never return. Sprayed up retaliation, peace our only concern. That's what we learned from the older homies loaded off Sherm. It's thug life mixed with ghetto living, real rock.
So that's what we learned from the older homies smoking on Sherm. Yep. Sherm is something that I smelled a half a dozen times in my life, and I'll never get that smell out of my you know, just when older people across the street were smoking or whatever the case is. But it's a horrible smell, and I'm assuming it's, you know, it's a horrible drug.
Embalming fluid.
Yeah.
Embalming fluid.
Yeah, you know what? Talk to me about, you know, some of the maybe talk to older homies, you know, who are steering these kids down the wrong path based on that line that you just said. And Sherm, talk to us about what you remember about Sherm.
Man, listen, that Sherm is no game at all. What it is it's embalming fluid. They actually embalm bodies with it. And cats was smoking it back then. I can share a story with you, man, when one of our older homies was loaded off Sherm, because I grew up in Campanella Park, so the park was right there. So we used to play football, because I grew up in the apartments across the street from the park, and we used to be up at the park playing football against the other streets, all of the other streets in the neighborhood. And we out there playing football one day, and this dude climbs up to the top of the telephone pole, loaded off Sherm, right, all the way to the top, set up at the top of the telephone pole, Indian style. It had to been about 500 feet, man. It probably higher than that. You know what I'm saying? Sitting up there, Shermed up, man. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Campanella Park, woo, just screaming it. He's sitting up there. Everybody thought he was gonna jump. We was younger, so we was just sitting, just waiting to see if he was gonna jump off. He was that gone, man. And they ended up calling the police, and his mom came. Actually, when he got his mom told him, come down from there. And he came down. Another thing, I done seen countless dudes running up the street butt naked off of it. It takes your mind to somewhere crazy, bro. Yeah, that's the little stuff about Sherm, man. That stuff is no game, nothing to play with. As far as the older homies, man, we have to do better, you know, because you're going to be held accountable for what you do and say on this earth. And if you're steering and leading these youngsters to the pit of death, you're going to be held accountable for that, man. We got to lead them right. We got to start teaching them right. And we got to start telling them the way to go. You know, I understand everybody ain't going to accept Jesus. Everybody ain't going to want to walk this walk. But if you want your life to change and be blessed, that's what you will do. You'll cry out to God.
Do you know, or do you recall, or do you know any stories of the government putting trains of weapons and just leaving them in the hood, crates of weapons on trains and things like that, and just leaving them in the hood?
Right. Well, the weapons came from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't no automatic weapons or nothing. I heard Big Q do an interview, and he said something that was so profound. He said it was just like 9 meters. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, 4.5 start popping up, and then ARs, and so them weapons came from somewhere, man. More than likely, the government probably dropped them off because they understood we don't have to imprison them if they can and they fail. Ooh. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and it just makes perfectly good sense. You know, the government is not for us. We know that to be fact. But yeah, man, with the police, it was always something, man. And back then, they was
police
killing
back
brothers,
then, right?
brothers.
Was it Compton police when you're coming up? Okay.
It was Compton police, and it was sheriffs. It was the sheriffs, the Stony Boys. We called them the Stony Boys in Compton and Firestone. And them dudes was no game or no joke, and they still kill brothers out there, man. We used to have our run-ins with them all the time, just being out on the block, out in the streets doing whatever we doing, man. And it ain't changed, and it's not going to change. And it's changed for me because I walked away from it. I don't get stopped by the police no more, man. It's absolutely amazing. you know, and I got a Lexus with tinted windows. I got my music is banging in it. You know, I don't really put myself out there like that, but I got a nice car, but I just don't get stopped. I'm not rolling with not having a license. I got a license. I got insurance. So there's no reason for them to mess with me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's just the choices we make and the changes that we need to make, man. You know, everything starts with Christ and God. And when you do that, you just want to start living right. You know, you're not going to want to roll around with bad tags because you know that you're putting yourself out there. But yeah, man, it was bad, bro. It was bad. And it continues to be bad, man. It's crazy, man. But when you separate yourself from that stuff, man, you'll start seeing that your life, a light bulb will come on. And you'll be like, okay, well, this is what it really is. And you'll be so proud of yourself because you made a conscious choice to walk away from the foolishness.
If you could put a number on it, how many people would you say throughout the years that you've lost to gangbanging, whether it be death, life in prison?
Ooh, man, I can't even put a number on it, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even put a number on it. And from gangbanging, just gangbanging alone, man. And it's crazy, man, because it didn't even have to happen like that. But because we have so much hate for one another, and because it's went on for generation after generation to where it's never going to stop, man. I was part of the 94 Peace Treaty.
Oh, wow.
Or 90, I think it was 92 when they had the Peace Treaty, man. Uh-huh. And I was there. I was actually there because we were supposed to, Compton's Righteous. My homies was Compton's Righteous and Big Jake was managing them. And they had a show and we all went up there, man. And you know, even at the Peace Treaty, it broke out, man. It was fighting up there, but at the show they was. But as far as, you know, just the actual Peace Treaty, bro, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was wonderful, man, just to be experiencing that, being able to go to different neighborhoods and chill with people and meet people that you wouldn't normally, you know, fellowship with because of the gang ties. That was beautiful, man. Matter of fact, on that Quest for Survival album, I got a song called How Long It's Gonna Last. How Long It's Gonna Last. And it's talking about that whole incident with the Peace Treaty. I think it's online too. That song might be online.
Oh, yeah, all your stuff is online.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It continues to remain crazy. And I've separated myself. The only way you'll see me back, you know, if I'm ministering to somebody. But as far as chilling like that, I'll chill to minister. But as far as hanging out like that, no, man. I don't even live in California anymore. I live in Indiana. Yep.
Yeah. Well, man, let's talk about what's going on nowadays with Trip C. What's next for Trip C?
Oh man, just ministry, doing ministry, getting out, spreading the word. I do a lot of TikTok videos, teachings, Facebook Lives. What else? New music, you know, just recording tracks. Nowadays it's easier. You can just record something and put it out the same day. If you got the capability in the studio to do it, and I have all of that. So I'm just, just doing my thing for the Lord, man. You know, I stay out the way, man, completely. You know, I mean, I've been in the kingdom of God for 27 years, like I said, and you know, so if I run into cross paths with somebody that I need to present this gospel of Jesus Christ to them and let them know this is what it is, man, and he'll change your life, then I do it. And throughout the years, I've brought a lot of people to Christ, man, through the music, you know. But again, music is just a tool. You know, after the music, what do? You know, I knew that, you know, I'm still rapping, but I preach more than I rap. You know, I teach the word more than I rap because this is my life now. God is my life. His word is my life. So, yeah, man, that's what I'm doing. You know, just keeping it pushing in Jesus.
Yeah. I have young men and women out there who listen to my show who may want to speak with you, and you know, maybe, you know, they're teetering going to church. They don't know if it's real. They don't know, you know, they're where you once were back in the day when you said you had no faith. Where how can they reach out to you if they want to talk to you?
And they can hit my line directly, 760-523-6072. If you want to know about Christ, if you want to know what does it mean to be saved, if you want to get closer to God, again, Trip C, the King's Servant, a.k.a. Apostle Christopher Lang, 760-523-6072. 6072. Get at me.
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. Let's go all the way back, man. Tell everybody about East Palo Alto, what it was like growing up in the 80s and 90s out there.
East Palo Alto is a small city, 2.5 square miles. At that time, it probably was like 25,000 people population. When I was growing up, it was like a real tight-knit community. You know, all the families, all our parents grew up together, so it was like a real close, tight-knit community. You know, and then like within like the late 80s, when you know, a couple years into the crack era, the city divided. You know what I'm saying? A couple of incidents happened, and a couple of young dudes lost their life. One of my good homies, Rufus Tooks, lost his life. And that sparked a division in the city. It was Midtown against DeVille, C Street, and the city was divided. You know what I'm saying? So in about 1990, so about 89 is when that happened. The city divided. I've been rapping since about 84, since I was like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? My mom's made sure I had the turntables and the mic and shit in the house, and I had my instrumentals and shit. She would let me do my thing. And a teacher in middle school heard us on the playground spitting our shit, and to let us come in her classroom and rehearse and practice after school and stuff, and open up the music room to us and kind of like innovated us. So by the time East Palo Alto divided and started getting a little more violent, I was already a couple years into rap. So around 1990, we dropped direct from the back streets in like 91. At this time, it was the funk was growing. And the following year, 1992, East Palo Alto was the murder capital of the nation.
Yeah.
But growing up, like I say, was like, you know, back in the 60s, it was like they had a Panther headquarters out here, and they had Nairobi Village, and it was more Afrocentric and shit like back in the 60s going into the 70s. And then, like I say, in the 80s when the crack era hit, in 81, we officially became a city. They established us as a documented city in like 1981. And around 1984, when crack hit, it hit East Palo Alto pretty hard. I was about 10 years old when it hit East Palo Alto hard. And by the time I was 13, 14, shit, it was full-fledged, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. And now, and then over the years from the 90s till now, it's calmed down. You know, Facebook moved in the Menlo Park right up the street. Amazon got a headquarters, like right where our old business district used to be at, where we had a market and we had a pharmacy and all that shit over there, and now it's Amazon. So I don't know if I could cuss. Is that cool?
Of course you can. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, back when I was growing up, that shit was, you know, like the neighborhood drugstore, the neighborhood pharmacy. My grandmother sent me over there to go to get her some stockings for church and shit. And, you know, they had the G-Town, not G-Town market, but the little market over there, sell meat and stuff. And now, you know, a lot of the biggest companies in the world has sought out East Palo Alto and came and changed the whole demographics. You know, it calmed down the violence, but it also moved a lot of the people that originated from here. It moved them out because the properties and the houses got so expensive that the average person couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? You know, a small 3-bedroom ran down 50-year-old house is worth damn near $1 million out here. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days when I was growing up, that wasn't worth shit. You know what I'm saying? A house in East Palo Alto wasn't worth shit. You can give a house away in East Palo Alto when I was growing up. So
yeah,
it totally changed. And, you know, I feel blessed to survive and see the growth and the change. Cause like now shit ain't been a murder in the last 3-4 years. It ain't been one murder. And maybe I might be wrong, but you know,
really,
yeah, real shit.
Let's take it back, man. Let's talk about the beginning of your music career. And I know you mentioned funk earlier, how the town was divided. Talk to us about, you know, the beginnings of your music career and the specific talent show that was shot up because you were told not to make music with the other side.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, when my English teacher, Miss East, used to let us come in our classroom. We used to be a group of us, you know what I'm saying? And me, $10, which ended up being my partner in Totally Insane, Chunk, which ended up being a Bay Area legend in itself, my boy Doc Louie. My boy Doc Louie moved to East Palo Alto from Texas like when he was young, and as soon as we met and hooked up, we started fucking with the music and shit. And he was into music, and we just started hanging around and kicking it. So we started coming to each other's house, going back and forth. His mom's cool, my mom's, and he was cool to come to my house. It was cool for me to go to his house, spend the night. We'd be in the room just with the beat, you know, with the boom box, just recording ourselves, doing verses over motherfuckers' songs and shit, and just, you know, just fucking with the music shit, just trying to build something. And he happened to be from C Street. He happened to be from the Ville side. And I'm born and raised in Midtown. And when we first started rapping, it wasn't that. It wasn't the divide. It was cool. We was doing talent shows. We was doing Juneteenth. So we was doing, you know, we was rocking. You know what I'm saying? And once the divide happened, which I understand because we lost a homie, you know, a youngster too. He was only like 18 when he got killed. A real famous dude in the town. You know what I'm saying? A real popular dude in the town. And he lost his life at a young age, and a lot of dudes was mad. They wanted revenge. So we was told on both sides because it got to the point where motherfuckers would get shot. Motherfuckers were getting shot at on both sides. And, you know, motherfuckers, it was serious. So motherfuckers on both sides was telling each one of us, nigga, don't bring that nigga over here. Don't be doing no music with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yada, yada, yada. Keep that nigga from over here. That nigga might be a spy or something. And this coming from both sides. I know that. I know for a fact that both sides were saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? We were saying the same thing to each other. So, but I mean, he didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. And our friendship was deeper than just the rap. That was my homie from 5th grade on to, you know what I'm saying, you know, until we became teenagers. You know what I'm saying? At that point. We still cool to this day. You know what I'm saying? This is 30-some years later. But, and his name is one of the names that I mentioned in I Don't Even Trip on the Direct for the Backstreet album. Doc Louie. And they was just telling us to keep each other away from their side, and it was getting real funky. And we sneaking behind niggas' back, meeting each other over at Music Annex. We had a little spot over behind my house called Music Annex, where it was like a studio. Like Rock and Rollers and Too Short used to press his shit over there, and you know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers charging us $100 an hour for studio time and shit. So we was sneaking off, meeting up in Music Annex, recording shit. But the problem is we was letting motherfuckers hear the shit. They was like, nigga, didn't we tell y'all to woo 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 woo? So it was still, you know, it was still funky, like, you know what I'm saying? It was a big talent show they used to have every year at Kelly Park, which is in Menlo Park, which is on my side of the map, on my side of the town. Shit. We thought it'd be a good idea that if we did the talent show and rock that shit, that'd probably bring motherfuckers together and shit. And we had prepared a song to tell motherfuckers to stop the funk and all the shit, a nonviolent song and all the shit that we had planned to perform and all the shit. And we thought in our minds that we was trying to help and trying to calm the shit down. But really all we did was brought all these motherfuckers together in the same building. And these same motherfuckers have been going back and forth at each other for these last year or two at this point, because I think Rufus died, and then I think the Juneteenth was like maybe 6 months later or something, like it was summertime or something, like, not the Juneteenth, but the talent show was like in the summertime. So it wasn't that far off, like in the same year. motherfuckers got up in there and got to arguing, they got to pushing, got to shoving, got to fighting. And then blickies came out and motherfuckers started busting, and motherfuckers got to running, and motherfuckers got to screaming, and the police started coming, and total chaos. You know what I'm saying? And if you know Kelly Park, it's one way in, one way out. You know, you got to go all the way to the back of Menlo, and then you got to go to get to the gymnasium where it was at in the back. You got to come in that parking lot, go all the way to the back, and then you got to turn around to come back out of that motherfucker. So that was a dangerous situation. It was, you know, that was total chaos.
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. Whatever happened to the Hooridas? You remember the Hooridas, right? If not, let me give you a little reminder. The Hooridas were an Oakland Bay Area hip-hop duo of cousins, King Son, aka Chop Black, and Mr. Taylor. They broke through in the mid to late 90s with the album Who Ridin' in 1997. When I first heard these dudes, I was hooked. They stood out to me right away. The song that got me was Shot Callin' and Big Ballin', advance to the next level in the game. That beat was crazy. They also had another song called Just Talk About Bank. Hey, that was my joint. It got heavy rotation in my ride. They recorded 2 more albums after this, High Times in 1999 and Corner Store in 2002, but they never reached mainstream success. And since the early 2000s, they've mostly stayed low profile, occasionally appearing on social media or in Bay Area throwback features. I thought this group was going to be the next to blow. So what happened? To understand that, we have to take it all the way back to the beginning. The duo of Hooridas grew up in the Bay Area. They started out freestyling together. One of the members, King Son, already had a foot in the door when he made an appearance on his older brother, Saphir's boxcar sessions. That connection helped open doors. And a quick shout out to Saphir, West Coast hip hop legend, one of the dopest to ever do this. I'm definitely going to have to do a show on Saphir in the near future. But back to the Hooridas. Their debut project was released on Southpaw Records in association with Delicious Vinyl and Stay Heated. Delicious Vinyl was an established indie alternative hip hop label. They were home to Tone Loc, Young MC, and later various other West Coast hip hop acts. And they had a national distribution muscle in the 1990s, but Delicious Vinyl was not a guaranteed fast track to long-term major label push for every act. The project, Who Ridin', was dope in my opinion. Classic 90s Bay Area type hip hop. The album had some legit features on it too, on the production side and on the rapping side. Daz Dillinger, one of the greatest producers in hip hop history, period. Shock G, R.I.P. Superfly, and many others made this a solid project that still gets played to this day in my ride. Minus the 12-inch speakers, tweeters, subwoofers, and all the other BS I had in my ride back in 1997. Shot Callin' and Big Ballin' was their lead single. It bubbled on the charts, and it was their best-known track. Talkin' 'Bout Bank, another single that gained radio and rap chart traction. The single actually charted on hot rap songs and R&B charts. Their debut LP peaked on Billboard R&B, Hip Hop, and Heat Seekers charts, which cemented them as a notable regional act with some national attention. They were one of those Bay Area duos who bridged the hyphy ride culture, and classic West Coast production. Their sound was melodic, streetwise, and car baller jewelry themed, which fit the Bay's late 90s radio and club scene perfectly. Critics and hip-hop peers respect Who Ridin' for its solid production and Bay Area authenticity. They also appeared on several other Bay projects and compilations of the era. So what happened to a group that had so much potential and a group that seemed to have a bright future? Some of the reasons include label and marketing dynamics. See, Delicious Vinyl and other indie alternative labels in the late 90s could promote regionally and get singles spinning, but the music industry was consolidating and radio and TV exposure was competitive. Many solid regional acts couldn't sustain long runs without major label backing or a breakout crossover hit. Other reasons the Who Riders didn't last was a changing in the hip-hop landscape. See, from the late 90s into the early 2000s, the sound and the gatekeepers changed fast. Attention was shifting from the West Coast to down south, and suddenly Southern rap artists had all the hype that the West Coast once had. This was also around the time Napster came around and affected the music business in a major way. No longer were people going to swap meets and Walmart and warehouse to pay $15.99 for a CD. Now, they just sat in front of their computer and illegally downloaded songs from Napster. This had a big impact on the Who Riders and in other hip-hop acts in general. Another reason the Who Riders didn't make it past the early 2000s was because of typical independent act constraints. Being an independent act without major label pushing is not easy. Touring budgets, sample clearances, internal management, and personal choices all affect output. At the end of the day, coming into the game and surviving as an independent artist is very rough. And these are the main reasons Who Riders had such a short career. Do you remember the Who Riders? If so, comment down below. And please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
A couple days later, we used to have a newspaper called the Times Tribune, and a couple days later, I didn't even know Times Tribune was in the building that night. They had pictures of us on stage, and the headline was "Local Rap Group Cause Shooting at Local Gyms" and shit like that. My mom still got the newspaper article. I still got that shit at the house. I thought I posted it on Instagram. I think it's still up there. But yeah. So after that happened, the funk increased. You know what I'm saying? It got worse. And Doc Louie and his brother got to some trouble, I think, and they went back to Texas. And I started going to high school. We had left middle school. I went to start going to high school. I was going to Carmont, and me and Ten had hit back up freshmen in high school. He had moved off for a minute, but then he came back. So we was freshmen in high school, and we was still fucking with the music shit. And one day coming home, Michael Washington approached me and see he was at the talent show. He saw, you know, we did get to get a few songs off before the shit popped off. So, you know, we did do our shit. He was like, I was walking by his house on my way home because I live right around the corner from him. And on the route to the bus stop is from, you know, I get off the bus and then I got to walk past his house to get to my house. and he was out there washing his car, and he was like, "Yeah, Adam, hey man, I seen y'all at the little talent show, man. Y'all was rocking till that little shit went down." He's like, "You ever thought about, going in the studio and recording that shit?" And at this point, I had already had a little bit of experience recording because, like I said, we was going to Music Annex, spending $100 an hour recording there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Yeah, I got a little experience," and we was recording at Doc Louis' uncle house, Jabo house. He lived like around the corner from me, like in the jungles. So we used to go over there and record. I was a little 4-track and shit. So I had a little bit of experience, but it wasn't the quality of like trying to put it out professionally. It was just like mixed down good enough for the neighborhood ballers to listen to because I threw their name and shit in. I did like Too Short, threw their name in so them niggas would play that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, me and Tens hooked up. Mike gave me the money. We met TC. We met Coog Nut. We met the whole Frisco crew at that point, and we started recording. We had a couple of there was a couple other members in the group in the beginning. It was me, 10. It was MC Silk and my homeboy Zero Lark. Zero Lark was the reason why we met TC because he met TC, and TC used to work at a studio called Bankroll Studio, and he was the engineer in there, and he was a producer. He was making beats and shit, and he was the engineer in there. And somehow Zero Lark, my nigga Dre Gibson from PA, he met TC somehow, or he went there and recorded his shit there. So when Mike gave me the money, I remember because he was riding. He had like a tan 6'4". He used to ride around Goins and shit, and he used to come through slapping his shit and shit. And he used to always pull up in front of my house because he knew we was fucking with the music. So every time he dropped some new shit, he'd come by my house, pull up, drink his little beer, and let us hear his shit slap out. You know what I'm saying? And I was a youngster at that time, so hanging out with that nigga was like cool. Cause that nigga used to, he had a clean ass 6'4". We used to be at Pleasant Fair getting that hose and all kind of shit. So, and I'm a young nigga, you know what I'm saying? Pulling up in some clean shit like that. And I was like big, like. So I remembered he was riding around passing out demos that he had made, and it had the number and shit on the back. So once Mike gave me the money, I ran to the house and I remembered that shit. I put that shit up just in case. I was stacking on my little bread. I was selling my little rocks and my little sacks of weed on the side, trying to build up some time to build up some money to get some studio time. But Mike had it, so you know what I'm saying? He had it. So we met TC. We went through Dre. I called TC, introduced myself, asked him how much studio time costs. Long story short, because I'm sure people probably heard a little bit of this story before. He gave me the bread. We went up there to San Francisco, met TC, introduced the TC Coog Nut all in the same day. Booked the studio time and went home and prepared some shit, wrote some shit. We had a couple little ideas, a couple little beats that we wanted to jack and shit, and want to flip or whatever, and we just start putting some shit together.
Let's talk about Mike D, who was very instrumental, obviously.
Yeah.
And he unfortunately ended up losing his life early on, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to us about what happened around that time.
Okay. So all this story runs right into each other. So we meet TC, we start recording. Eventually members start falling out the group. Zero Lark and Mike had a fallout, so Zero Lark got kicked out the group first. And then Treese, I don't know what happened with her. She left for personal reasons. She just stopped coming around. She started doing her own thing, I guess. So she was out the group. So it was just me and 10. So we started recording another album. We recorded an album called Crazy Shit. We had like 13 songs on there. We had some slaps on that motherfucker, so that was a nice album. So we recorded Crazy Shit, and we took the art, the cover, the picture for the artwork and all that, and we had everything ready. We had went and got it mixed and mastered, the whole shit. We had to test copy, because back then you had to get your shit mastered. You had to go somewhere and get your shit mastered and all that. And that weekend, that Friday, we usually meet up on Friday at Martin Luther King Park, which is in the G. and watch the little kids play softball. He used to love to, sit out there and watch the little kids play softball and sit out there and smoke his weed and just think, like, because it used to be quiet and peaceful, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, man, we finna send this shit to the press. It's gonna take a couple weeks. Woo, woo, woo. We're gonna hit all the records. So he was basically laying out the blueprint of what he wanted to do, what he had already planned out. You know what I'm saying? He knew a lot of motherfuckers in every city in the Bay Area. The nigga was famous all over the Bay Area, all over Northern California. So he was like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and that. So he's like, cool, bro, hell yeah. He had just got his car out the shop, I believe. He had a convertible Skylark, candy red, bone white interior, triple gold ones, clean as fuck, super slap, clean as fuck. He had just got out the shop. I don't know if he got it painted or something happened to it or something. I think he put some brand new rims on that motherfucker. He had just put the gold ones on, 5-time gold ones on that motherfucker. And he said he had bumped this little chick. He was going to Oakland and he'll be back, tomorrow, this was Friday when we used to meet up on Friday. Me, him, and Teen used to meet up on Fridays. And he said he'd come back Saturday and whatever. So we did. We left. We went and did our thing. I live right around the corner from him, so I went to the house. And about noon time, we went outside. Me and my brother sitting outside in the front, chilling, talking and shit. And Mike D. brother ran up the street. He ran to the corner of our street and was screaming, Mike D. dead! Mike D. dead! And we was like, what? Everybody that was out there ran down there. And we was like, bro, what are you talking about? He said, man, they killed Mike D, man. Mike D dead. He died. In front of Mike D in the mama house. And it was real. Everybody was out there crying. Motherfuckers was falling out on the ground and all kind of shit. Motherfuckers was destroyed, because Mike D was, to explain what Mike D is, he was like a ballin' ass nigga, but had hella love and respect.
Let's take it all the way back. Let's go all the way back to 1965 and the Watts riot.
It began as many race riots have begun with the arrest of a Negro by white officers. In this case, 2 young Negroes were stopped by California highway patrolmen and charged with drunk driving. There was a scuffle and a crowd gathered. The mother of the 2, they are brothers, joined in, and she and another woman the crowd thought was pregnant were pushed and shoved.
The Watts riot was something that I obviously was not around for, but I have studied it. I've come to understand that it was a very important time in our history, and it was directly correlated with the LA uprising of 1992. Let's go back to 1965, Watts, California.
Get the white man! Get the white man!
It was the most widespread, most destructive racial violence in American history. White people driving through the riot area were considered fair game, whether young or old, men or women.
2 black men were stopped by officers and suspected of drunk driving. An argument leads to a fight between the alleged suspects and the officers. A crowd started forming, noticing, hey, doesn't look right what they're doing to those people over there. So crowd starts building up. Members of the 2 men, the suspects, their families got involved. And that was the spark that started the Watts riots.
I threw the firebomb right in the front window. A friend of mine went in the store towards the back and threw a firebomb in the bag, and the place went up in flames. But it was pretty well emptied by the looters and so forth.
I've spoken with many people my senior, 20 years older than me, and they told me of a time where black people owned businesses in Los Angeles. Now, yeah, I know a lot of you don't live in Los Angeles, but now if you walk around Los Angeles, there are almost 0 businesses owned by black folks. 100% truth. And it's sad. It sucks. But it is fact. When you walk into places where we use most of the products, it's usually not us behind the counter. And this ain't no race thing. Hey, come here, get your money. That's not my point. I just want to paint a picture that back in 1965, there were black businesses in Los Angeles. You needed to tailor your suit or your pants. There was a black man that did that for you. You needed to buy a few things from the local market. There was a black man who owned that market. You wanted to get your hair cut? A black man, most barbers are still black to this day, so that one doesn't count. But my point is, if you wanted your car washed, if you wanted to pick up some flowers down the street for your wife, it was black folks that were running these businesses. Then the Watts riot hits. 1965. And just a few short years after that, there were very, very few black businesses in our community.
Over and over, Negroes repeat the charge of police brutality. One who had pressed a number of brutality complaints and one of the most successful attorneys in Los Angeles is a Negro, Leo Branton. We asked him about the police claim that brutality charges are fully and fairly investigated.
Well, in theory, there are avenues of complaint open, but there are no meaningful avenues to redress the grievances of these people. I've tried them all, and I can say to you that there is no question but that under the present machinery as it exists and as it is being operated today, a complaint of police brutality by any Negro citizen goes almost completely unheeded.
You've all seen the videos of the Watts riots where German shepherds were attacking us, water hoses were being let off on us, these powerful fire hoses, the ones the firefighters used to put out fires. Oh, they were treating us pretty bad back in 1965, even in Los Angeles, a quote progressive city, right? Where everyone, we got everything here. We had everything. It was even like that back in 1965. Everyone was coming to California. Mexican, black, Asian. It was a melting pot. But there were still areas, ladies and gentlemen, where if you were dark, you better get your butt home before a certain time, because they would pull you over and mess with you. The Firestone sheriffs, they were notorious for this. There were groups called the Spook Hunters out of Downey, California, Southgate, areas like that, where they kept a very, very tight ship and they didn't let any black folks in their area after a certain time. Yeah, you could come and work during the day. You could come and do our lawn. You can come and do all that. But you better get your butt home, Negro, before that sun goes down. And the cops were like that too. So that was going on in LA. There was no doubt that was going on in LA. The LAPD have always been known to be a little rough. Do whatever they needed to do to get the job done.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family.
at the Paramount Drive-In. Hello. Can I have 2 for Exorcist, please?
Can it be 28?
20. 28, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Back in my day, it would have been about $4. Just kidding. All right, 28. There you go.
Here you go.
Thank you very much.
No problem. You're going to make a right and then straight to the wall.
Cool. Thank you. Right. All right, let's go check out The Exorcist. Put me at the Classic Cabananga, brand new. I ain't smoking on those others. I'm smoking on you. Put your bestie in a packy. I'm smoking her too. Something. Put her with the LSU. Hello.
Hello. Is it this one or this one? Or both?
Be on the screen too on your left. You guys are about to turn left.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. Have a good one. Yep. One of the last remaining drive-in theaters in Southern California. I used to come here when I was a kid. They closed it down for a long time. Then they opened it back up not too long ago. And I personally prefer the drive-in. You can bring your own drinks, bring your own food. You can get a little freaky with your hyena, if you know what I mean. Let's see, what do you think, baby? Maybe get kind of in the middle over here?
Yeah, like over here.
Yeah. Pick the perfect spot. We got our cooler in the back full of drinky poos. Can you see over that car right there if we sat here? Alright, perfect. Booyah. Alright. Drink time. Let's all go to the snack bar to get ourselves some treats.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's beautiful weather out here on an October night. Everybody's out with their ladies. Got my lady right here. And we're gonna go to the snack bar.
Cheetos, Fritos.
I remember them having some pretty good tacos too.
They do, yes.
Remember that? I think I do, fool. I think I want a taco, dog.
Visit our snack bar now for a fresh assortment of Cracker Jacks, mixed specialties, and delicious candies. Or popping fresh popcorn, salty and delicious, in the right size for you as you like it. Refresh yourself with a cold, icy, sparkling soft drink. We have all of your favorite flavors. Visit our snack bar now.
You guys have a drive-in theater in your city, wherever you're watching from? I doubt it, because they all just disappeared. That's the perfect thing. Left my phone. Oh, duh. I was about to say I left my phone in the car, and I'm fucking recording with it right now. Marijuana kids. All right, let's see. Ooh. Pizza that looks like it's been there for 7 days straight. Oh yeah, look at these bad boys. Look at those bad boys. Chata, fresa, piña. When I was a kid, I used to always get an icy and popcorn. Ooh, look at the churros. Yeah, let's go order. I had dinner, but I'm a little hungry right now, so let's go check it out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get a couple tacos. I'm gonna get a couple tacos. Let's all go to the snack bar. Get ourselves a snack.
Can I get just one single asada taco with no onions?
9 minutes to go to showtime.
All right, we got our food.
We didn't eat lunch today.
Let's walk back to the car. Telling you guys, if you get a chance to go to a drive-in theater, you got to do it. It's a good time. It's a good vibe. Ah, the smell of weed is in the air. Hello. Every car smells like they're just hotboxing. That's gonna be me in about 17.3 minutes. Gonna check out The Exorcist. I've always liked scary movies, especially scary movies that deal with religion. Cause that should be seeming real, yo. Like, goddamn. All right, hop in the car right now. Gonna grub. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, baby. Got my drink. Movie's about to start.
I'm gonna put this here.
Cool. About to light this J up and enjoy the night. Oh yeah, it's about to go down, baby.
Knowledge is stronger than belief.
Movie's about to start. And my wife's feeling on me. Hey, I'm not into that tonight. It's the first time I've met you. We can't be doing stuff like that. Oh, baby. Shoot. That's right. All right, quick potty break. But we gotta hurry up because it's just starting to get good.
And now the clowns will stop the show with your most kind permission. A rocket blast so you will know it's time for intermission.
These are the old poles you used to use where you would actually plug the thing in and you would put the thing on your window back before the radio station.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.
All right, potty break over, back to the movie. Hurry up, we're missing shit. Good movie to watch during Halloween. I like it. Not bad. What do you think, baby?
I liked it.
It was good, huh?
It was good.
I knew what to expect. Scary religious shit. Pretty dope. Check it out. Exorcist. And we're out. Happy Halloween!
We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble. A gay, pleasant evening for all.
Toddy does taste grand. At the snack bar or at your car. During intermission, enjoy a Toddy, the delicious chocolate drink in a can. Ice cold or steaming hot, Toddy hits the spot with everybody. See how much better that popcorn or those hot dogs taste with Toddy.
Delicious.